Chapter 5. Relationships. The mirror of healing and growth. Relationships have a remarkable way of showing us what still lives within us. They reveal where we feel safe, where we become guarded, where we give too much, where we disappear, where we expect rejection before anyone has actually left, and where, despite everything we have endured, we remain willing to love. This is why relationships can become some of our greatest teachers. They reflect our tenderness, our fear, our patterns, our unspoken needs, and the stories we have carried from one chapter of life into the next. Sometimes the reflection is beautiful. Sometimes we would prefer to return the mirror. Either way, something is being revealed. Healing does not ask us to blame ourselves for everything that happens in a relationship, nor does it require us to remain in relationships that are harmful, dishonest, or unsafe. It asks us to notice, what is this relationship showing me? What belongs to me? What does not? What am I ready to understand differently? The relationship within. Before we can create meaningful relationships with others, we must begin building one within ourselves. This does not mean we must be perfectly healed before we are worthy of love. Thankfully, or most of humanity would be waiting indefinitely. It means learning to remain present with ourselves, to hear our own no, to honor our yes, to recognize when our body tightens, to notice when we abandon our needs in order to maintain connection, to understand the difference between love and self-erasure. Many of us were taught to look outward for approval, safety, validation, and belonging. We learn to ask, do they like me? Do they approve of me? Am I enough for them? Healing invites us to ask different questions. Do I feel safe here? Can I remain myself in this relationship? Does this connection support honesty? Can love exist here without requiring me to disappear? The relationship within becomes the foundation from which every other relationship grows. When survival enters the room. Trauma does not remain politely outside when we enter a relationship. It often comes with us. It sits at the table. It listens for changes in tone. It studies facial expressions. It notices delayed messages. It prepares for abandonment, betrayal, criticism, or danger before any of those things have occurred. For veterans and others who have lived through prolonged threat, heightened awareness may have once been essential. The ability to assess danger, suppress discomfort, remain disciplined, and complete the mission may have protected lives. But a nervous system trained for survival may struggle when the mission becomes intimacy. Relationships ask for something different. They ask us to soften without becoming unprotected, to communicate without attacking, to listen without preparing a defense, to remain present when vulnerability feels far more dangerous than battle ever did. This transition can be difficult. It can also be learned. A person is not incapable of love because their body remains vigilant. They may simply be learning that closeness does not always require armor. Relationships are not completion. Many of us enter relationships hoping another person will fill what feels empty within us. We want someone to quiet our fear, confirm our value, repair our past, make us feel chosen. There is nothing shameful about longing for love, reassurance, or companionship. We are relational beings. We need one another. But another person cannot become the sole caretaker of our inner world. Relationships were never meant to complete us. They were meant to meet us, to challenge us, to witness us, to offer companionship as we continue becoming more fully ourselves. When we lose our relationship with our own center, we may begin asking others to provide what they were never capable of sustaining. We may confuse attention with love, intensity with intimacy, being needed with being valued, chemistry with safety, familiar pain with destiny. Healing allows us to create relationships from a place of participation rather than desperation. We stop asking someone else to become our missing piece. We begin arriving as a whole person who is still growing. The courage to be seen. Authentic connection requires visibility, not performance, not perfection, visibility. It means allowing someone to know what we feel, what we need, what frightens us, and what matters to us. This can feel terrifying if honesty was punished in the past. Many people learned early that love depended upon being easy, agreeable, useful, quiet, successful, or emotionally undemanding. We became skilled at reading the room while slowly losing the ability to read ourselves. Healing asks us to return, to speak honestly without becoming cruel, to receive honesty without making it an attack, to recognize that disagreement does not automatically mean rejection, to understand that boundaries do not destroy healthy relationships. They help reveal them. A relationship that requires your silence in order to survive is not asking for connection. It is asking for compliance. Offering and receiving. Every relationship involves an exchange. Attention, time, touch, energy, words, trust, care. The way we offer ourselves matters. The way we receive from others matters too. Some people give constantly but struggle to receive. Others receive without recognizing the responsibility of reciprocity. Some offer love while quietly expecting repayment in a form they have never communicated. Others decline every offering because dependence feels dangerous. There is wisdom in noticing your own patterns. Can you receive a compliment without dismissing it? Can you accept help without feeling weak? Can you offer love without abandoning yourself? Can you allow another person to have needs without making those needs your responsibility to fix? Healthy relationship is neither endless giving nor endless taking. It is a living exchange shaped by honesty, consent, gratitude, responsibility, and care. Relationship with medicine. Receiving a cup of earth medicine is also an act of relationship. It is not merely the consumption of a substance. It is an encounter involving the medicine, the facilitator, the environment, the body, the intention, and the unknown. How we approach that encounter matters. Are we seeking entertainment, escape, a dramatic story to tell later? Or are we entering with humility, curiosity, and a willingness to participate in what may be revealed? A healing intention does not guarantee a comfortable experience. It establishes a relationship of responsibility. It says, I am willing to listen. I am willing to meet myself honestly. I am willing to care for what is uncovered. I understand that the work may continue after the ceremony ends. Medicine can reveal a door. It cannot make us walk through it. That choice remains ours. This is why preparation matters. When a person has already begun listening to the gut, regulating the nervous system, breathing consciously, caring for the body, and observing their relationships, the experience has somewhere to land. The medicine is no longer being asked to perform a rescue. It is entering an active relationship with someone who has already begun participating in their own healing. The web of relationship. Human relationships are only one part of a much larger web. We are also in relationship with our bodies, our breath, our food, our work, our childhood, our ancestors, our homes, the earth, the divine. Even our time is something we are in relationship with. Do we rush through it? Waste it? Fear it? Honor it? The quality of our lives is often shaped by the quality of these relationships. When we treat the body as an inconvenience, it responds differently than when we approach it as a trusted companion. When we treat nature as scenery, we experience it differently than when we remember we belong to it. When we treat breath as automatic, we overlook an intimate companion that has never once left us. Healing begins when we become conscious of how we are participating. Our relationship with childhood. Our earliest relationships teach us what connection is supposed to feel like. They shape what we expect from love, what we tolerate, what we fear, what we believe we must do to belong. A child who learned that love was unpredictable may become an adult who mistakes uncertainty for passion. A child who is praised only when useful may struggle to believe they deserve care while resting. A child who had to manage the emotions of adults may grow into someone who feels responsible for everyone in the room. Recognizing these patterns is not about blaming the past. It is about understanding the map we were handed. Once we can see the map, we can decide whether it still leads where we want to go. We can learn that love does not need to feel confusing. That peace is not boredom. That consistency is not a lack of passion. That being chosen should not require us to betray ourselves. Our relationship with those who came before. we inherit more than just physical traits. We inherit stories, traditions, warnings, values, silences, and ways of surviving. Families pass down tremendous wisdom, but they may also pass down fear, grief, and unfinished patterns. Sometimes we find ourselves carrying responsibilities we never consciously chose, keeping secrets we did not create, repeating relational patterns no one knew how to interrupt. Healing allows us to honor those who came before us without being required to repeat everything they endured. We can carry forward the love, the courage, the songs, the recipes, the prayers, the resilience, and we can place down what no longer needs to travel with us. That is not betrayal. It may become one of the deepest ways we honor the future. Our relationship with the divine. For many people, relationship with God, Source, creation, or the divine becomes the quiet center of healing. This relationship does not need to look the same for everyone. It does not belong exclusively to a religion, institution, or particular set of words. It may be experienced through prayer, stillness, service, nature, music, community, awe, or the unexplainable feeling that life is larger, more mysterious, and more connected than we can fully understand. When this relationship is neglected, we may begin asking human relationships to carry the full weight of our spiritual longing. We expect another person to make us feel permanently safe, known, purposeful, and complete. That is a tremendous burden to place upon any human heart. A relationship with the divine does not remove our need for others. It can help us meet them with greater freedom. We are able to love without demanding worship, to receive without making another person our source, to remain connected without confusing possession with devotion. Intention changes the relationship. Intention does not control an outcome. It shapes how we enter. Two people may walk into the same conversation with completely different intentions. One enters to win. The other enters to understand. One enters to defend. The other enters to connect. One enters ceremony demanding an answer. The other enters willing to listen. The experience may look similar from the outside, but the inner relationship is entirely different. Before entering an important conversation, ceremony, or healing space, pause and ask, what am I bringing into this relationship? Curiosity, fear, expectation, control, reverence, a desire to be seen, a willingness to see. Clear intention helps us to become more conscious participants rather than unconscious reactors. A practice in presence. Choose someone with whom you feel safe. This may be a partner, family member, trusted friend, or healing practitioner. Sit comfortably across from one another. Allow your bodies to settle. For a moment, simply breathe. You may choose to make gentle eye contact, but there is no requirement to force it. Presence should never become performance. Notice what happens in your body. Do you want to look away? Do you feel warmth, discomfort, tenderness, the urge to laugh? All of it is information. After a minute or two, each person may offer one honest statement. It could be an appreciation, a feeling, a hope, a truth that has been difficult to express. The other person listens without correcting, solving, or preparing a response. Then you switch. The purpose is not to create a dramatic breakthrough. It is to experience what happens when two people stop performing and begin being present. Sometimes a few honest minutes can reach places that hours of talking have avoided. Begin building your optimal field. Over the next week, notice how your body responds in different relationships. Who helps you soften? Who leaves you depleted? Where do you feel free to speak? Where do you carefully edit yourself? Which relationships feel reciprocal? Which ones depend upon you carrying most of the emotional weight? Do not rush to judge. Do not rush to judge or make immediate decisions. Begin with observation. Your body may recognize the quality of a relationship long before your mind is ready to name it. Notice the difference between nervous excitement and genuine ease, between familiarity and safety, between being desired and being cherished, between being included and truly belonging. The goal is not to create a life without relational discomfort. Growth will sometimes challenge us. The goal is to recognize whether discomfort is leading toward greater honesty and connection, or deeper into fear and self-abandonment. Another page in your journal. Open your journal and write, "Who am I when I feel safe enough to be myself?" Let the answer arrive without editing it. Maybe you are playful, tender, curious, creative, quiet, sensual, generous, brave, silly, expressive. Then write, which relationships make room for that person? And finally, where have I been leaving myself in order to remain connected? Approach this question gently. It's not an accusation, it's an opening. Writing allows truths that have lived quietly inside the body to become visible. Once something is visible, we are no longer required to remain unconsciously governed by it. This is how the inner relationship begins. Not through condemnation, through honest awareness. Coming home. Relationships are not where we are meant to lose ourselves. They are places where we may learn to meet ourselves more honestly. Some relationships will remain, some will deepen, some will change form, some may need to end. Healing does not guarantee that every connection will continue. It helps us understand which relationships allow truth, dignity, safety, reciprocity, and growth to exist. The deepest relationship you will ever build is the one you create within. From that place, you can choose more clearly, love more freely, receive more openly, set boundaries without hatred, release without denying what mattered, and enter healing work with the understanding that no medicine, partner, teacher, or ceremony can create that relationship for you. They may help unveil it. They may show you where the doorway has always been. But you are the one who chooses to enter. When you do, the healing has somewhere to take root. The insight has somewhere to live. And transformation becomes more than a powerful experience. It becomes a new way of relating to yourself, to others, to creation, and to the life asking to be lived through you.